Hello, Diora. We are going to try and look at your current problem. So let me know if this is different, but this, I mean, I'm on your name. So this should be the problem you see when you like sign in and look at. Hopefully that's true. So there are a couple things to keep straight. Let me pull up a Word document. So this might be something you want to write down or take a picture of, but there's a couple things to consider. First off, you have a solid line if you have one of these inequalities. If you have a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. If you see like the equal or the line underneath, you're going to have a solid line. If you just have like the regular less than or greater than symbol, you're going to have a dashed or like a dotted line. So we'll see, these are things we're going to want to consider. The other thing we need to consider is if we're going to shade above or below. You shade above if you have greater than or greater than or equal to. You're going to shade below if you have less than or equal to. So you might want to like take a second, copy this down or take like a picture of this, because this is something you're always going to be looking at when you're graphing these inequalities. Are you going to have a dashed or a solid line? Are we going to shade above or below? So we'll kind of pop back between this, but like I said, it might be helpful if you write this down. So looking at this, we're going to just do one problem at a time. So I'm going to start with this top one. So we graph it like a regular line. So I'm going to go down. And if this is something you struggle with, you might even want to like YouTube how to graph a line in slope intercept form. But you start with your B. If you remember, it's y equals mx plus b. You always start with like the number that's added or subtracted at the end. So we're going to start down at -5. That's going to be my first dot. And then this is really -1x. So my slope is really -1/1. So I'm going to go down 1, right 1. You're pretty much always going to go to the right when you graph your slope unless it doesn't fit on your graph. So we have to ask ourselves these two questions. Am I going to have a solid line or a dashed line? And then am I going to shade above or below? So since this has the equal to, like that line underneath, it's going to be a solid line. But if I did want to change it, I just click this button. So I'm not going to mess with that. Since it's greater than, I'm going to shade above. So you can kind of like click this change shade button, and that would be above, right? So I'm done with my first inequality. Now I'm going to start looking at this bottom one. So similar idea. I'm going to start up at +3. And then I'm going to use this slope. So I have 3/5, rise over run. So I'm going to go up 3, right 5. And then I'm going to draw that line. Since this one also has the line underneath or the equal to, it's also going to be a solid line. But like I said, you can always click this button if it needs to be a dashed line. Then we're going to change our shade. And this one's also greater than, so we're going to shade above. So sometimes it's a little bit, there's a lot going on in this picture. So I like to kind of click it fast so I can see the difference. So is that above or is that above? This would be above. So when you graph a system of inequalities, this dark area, if you see kind of where you have both colors, it's kind of like this dark greenish, bluish color up here. That's our answer. Anything inside this area is our answer. So I can pick any point. So long as I plot this point, it's in this dark blue area. So for example, I could plot, for example, -2, 6. Like that would be like where my cursor is right now. But you could pick any point as long as when you plot it, it's going to be inside your dark area. Just be careful when you plot a point. You always start, it's X, Y. So you always start, like your first number tells you how far you're going left or right. Second number tells you how you're going up or down. A lot of times students flip it. Like for example, 6, -2 would be down here. So just be careful that you're not flipping your point around if you're having trouble with this step. But submit it. You should see that it is correct. Hopefully, yeah, you should still be able to do that question. So see if you can try and put that in and then see if you can try another one. I don't know if this will help. There also is a delta math I posted yesterday. I see you watched the video, it looks like actually. So try your best with the questions. I can do one really quick if it helps, but they're going to tell you one thing for you to find. So you might want to look back at that video or look at some examples, but roots are really another word for x-intercepts. They're asking you, where does it cross the x-axis? So is there a way you can edit my screen? So your x-intercepts or your roots are here. So there's two of them. So when we click answer type, we'll click 2 points. But the coordinates, it's -7, 0. And then this one would be -3, 0. So if you kind of watch, like, I mean, you might need to go back to that video, or if you want to click, you should see a button in the top right that says show some example or show examples or something like that. If you click through that, that might help you if you look at a few, but read each question, because each question is going to ask you for something different. I mean, you might get some repeats, obviously, but there's 5 different things it can ask you to find. So I don't know if that helps at all with this, but that would be like your first answer for the new Delta Math from yesterday as well. So sorry if this video is a little bit long. I'm tired of coming in this morning, but I tried to record something. I hope this helps a little bit.